to start this video, I want to say what I'm trying to teach you guys, right, is not a style of throwing. It's not a system for throwing, okay? I'm not trying to teach you to throw like me, right? I'm trying to give you some guidelines, right, that will allow you to develop your own throw. I'm not trying to make you throw like anyone, okay? I'm not trying to give you the perfect form, right? I'm trying to tell you what you need to know to develop your own form and to work within these kind of guidelines to do what feels best for you and what feels best for your body. So I get a lot of DMs and a lot of comments about if you only did this, if you only listened to this coach, or you should get a form review from this guy or that guy, and you'd be throwing 800 feet if you just fix these 7 things in your throw or these 5 things in your throw or whatever, right? And I really appreciate those comments. I understand that most people are just trying to help me. I have tested most of these things, and today I think what we're going to do is we're going to test them again. I'm going to try out a bunch of you guys' suggestions, a bunch of different styles of throwing, and we're going to see what it does to my form, how it feels for me, if my speed's better, if my spin's better, all of these different stats, and how does it feel on my body? Does it hurt my knee, or does it feel powerful? All those kind of things. So first, we're going to throw with a few with my normal style. Recently, it's switched to a lot more reaching behind me. I find that getting this arc on the backside allows me to get more power kind of coming straight out. It hasn't affected my accuracy that much, even though I kind of thought it would. But yeah, we'll start with that, and then we'll move on from there. We're going to try a bunch of different coaching styles of throws and a bunch of different suggestions. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy.
Miles per hour, 1,286 RPM.
All right, we were warmed up. I think we did about 5 throws in my style. Just got to 70. We're going to try a few of these different styles. The first one I want to start off with is kind of a Trebuchet disc golf style. I'll link to his video here. He really focuses on a very hardcore hyzer tilt, very strong counterweight, making sure that we snap the hips, keep the counterweight behind us so we can absorb all this energy into the disc. Keeping our elbow kind of on the swing plane and letting our hips be all the power, basically. So I talk about this in my standstill tutorial part 1. I use a slightly different one leg style than he does, but we're going to use his style, which is barely any weight on the back foot. Mostly straight front leg. I think you're supposed to keep it straight for safety reasons when you first start. Obviously, I'm a little more advanced, so I'm going to allow a little bit of bend. He also says something about, I think, slightly back front toe. That doesn't feel very comfortable for me, maybe because I'm externally biased. So we're going to go parallel to the target with our back toe. And we're just going to focus on snapping our hips, getting the weight into our heel, straight through, pull through. And yeah, we'll see what we can get up to with this. Whew. I'm going to be a little more loose about it because that one actually felt rough on my hamstring and knee. So I'm going to smooth it out, relax a little more, and don't be so strict on the heel snap at the end. Let me be on my toe a little bit more to kind of alleviate some pressure on the knee.
All right, so while I'm throwing these throws, I have tried this style very extensively, and for some reason it just doesn't click with my knee, and jamming my hip back with my heel just kind of causes me knee pain. So I kind of don't do this style because of that.
So you can see there, that is 68 miles per hour. No reaching behind myself. No huge coil, right? We're just using this standstill hyzer tilt. Boom, bracing against our front leg, extending our front quad to snap our hips. I mean, 67.9, that's probably very close to 500 feet, if not 500 feet on a course, depending on the conditions. Next, let's move to, we're going to remove the hyzer tilt and go back to a little bit more of a stagger. And I'm going to focus on keeping my head straight down and the front side of my body closed. I don't recommend not following through with your head. I'm only doing it because I want to make sure that I keep my head down and my front side closed, and that's the easiest way for me to do it, but it can cause strain on your neck muscles and stuff like that. So for safety reasons, make sure you follow through with your head after the swing. I'm just not used to it. For me, keeping my head down and letting my body go past, it's just not quite as powerful as letting my body open up some and really getting, as Drew Gibson would say, this belt buckle a little more toward the target. Personally, we can do my style real quick.
70.4 miles per hour.
There you go.
1,433 RPM.
Yeah, for me personally, I like that the best. It feels like I have the most control over the disc and can focus more on where the disc is going than how I'm throwing. The next thing I want to try is a straight reach back. So instead of my way of kind of reaching out, coming around, arcing back in and going out, we're just going to try straight up. I'm going to wide rail basically and keep my elbow up, try to keep my arm angle at 90. So not letting any of my pocket collapse at all, not reaching behind myself so I have to pull out of a deficit. Let's try that one. I'm actually pretty good at this one. So I think we can hit a pretty good number. So we'll get back in our regular stance. We're just going to focus on
69.9 miles per hour.
so that's 500.
174 RPM.
We're going to try even keeping the elbow a little bit harder forward. Really try to focus on getting this elbow ahead so we don't get collapsed at all. That one's pretty easy for me to break 70 on. It's basically just like my normal swing. The reach back position is just in a different spot. It does feel pretty good. My issue personally with that style for me is I tend to misrelease more often for some reason. And I think that the general consensus is you would misrelease less often because the disc is just going on one straight line. But for me, for some reason, lining up the spin of my torso at the right time is a lot harder for me when I don't have something like a flow to go into. So by flowing back and flowing forward, I get this like natural rhythmic lineup of my pocket and my torso turn. So that one, pretty quick. It's probably what I recommend for most people to at least to start. I would say what we've done so far is a great way to go. Start with the one leg, move to this kind of wide raily, elbow high, keep the elbow forward. Let's do run up. I don't know exactly what my run up looks like on camera because I haven't filmed it in a long time, but I think my brace is much better in my run up, probably because I can get my counterweight in a better position. I'll show you guys what that looks like. Whew. Gotta be real. I've been a little tired on that run up one. Take a short little break before this next one. Usually my run up can get up to around 72. So why don't I like it very much? It's a lot more tiring for me. And it's a lot more stuff to manage. So instead of just starting here, being able to see my target, have my feet start in the same spot, wind up and go, I really have to, what's going on with the T-pad? I don't want to slip. Look at my target while I'm coming up, while focusing on just a bunch of stuff. Also, for me personally, it's more tiring. Like I feel like I'm using more muscles to make it work. Maybe I'm just not doing it very efficiently, but I don't really need it. So there's not really a point in me learning to do it more efficiently unless I want to, right? So the last one And the hardest one, the one I know I suck at, is like the double move, right? My off arm. So I could try off arm coming straight to the side. I could try off arm coming straight in front. I'll probably do 5 of each. But I can tell you, for me personally, this demolishes my timing. It really has to be spraying all over the place. Maybe it's just something I would need to get used to. But I have attempted to implement it multiple times in my throw. And it just never really goes well. I can hit okay speeds with it, 68, 69, something like that. Every now and then I get a good rip. But the launch and the nose are all over the place for me when I do this. Really messes up my swing path. Which is just something I don't really like and I don't want to deal with when I don't need to. So we're going to focus on slamming the arm into the side, or I guess relaxing the arm to the side, not slamming so much. But you'll see what happens in my rotation when I do this. I'm going to try to do it with my normal throw, just keeping the off arm kind of tucked more. All right, so you can see my nose and my launch are all over the place, and it's just really hard for me in comparison to how easy it is just not have my off arm mucking up the works. Maybe at some point, if I really, really got it down, I'd add a little bit of power, but I don't know. I don't think the off arm is as important as people make it out to be, unless you're doing a style that relies on this kind of wide rail, and the off arm is used to keep tension in the arm. Right, whereas for my throw, I keep tension in the arm by keeping an arc the whole way, instead of having kind of a slack in the middle somewhere. But I do think that's one way that the off arm can be super beneficial. I think all of these ways can easily break 600. Like, I don't think any of these ways are bad. I think you could use any of these styles, whichever one you like the best, and throw really well. It's all about your body type, what clicks with you, what feels good. So last one, we're going to try this kind of bring the off arm in and swim move it out. I suck at this one, so be prepared for the suckage. We'll see how it goes. I always hated this one. It just really messes up my timing for me. And I don't think I do the wide rail thing or something that is really like what makes it good or something. But I'll try my best. I hope this video was kind of informative. And if you guys have other styles you want me to try, let me know and I will try them. And as for why do I throw the style that I do? I think for me personally, it costs me the least in terms of energy and muscle and putting strain on my knee. I'm an old guy. So for me, I can stay the most relaxed. I have the best accuracy and I can get the most kind of flowing power using the style that I use. Whether it is the best for everyone or the best for me or not. For me, it kind of costs me the least in terms of recovery. And it's how I personally have been able to throw the farthest with the least amount of stress to my body. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it turns out well. Yeah, stay tuned. Subscribe if you're not already. Peace.